passageways deck.
Oh, ouch, you okay? Oh no.
I have a headache.
Oh man.
Let's find any yard. Lyon has over 300 hidden passageways running through its buildings. I found out the hard way.
3 days in Lyon, France's food capital, 2 rivers, a 2 Michelin-star dinner, and almost 0 international tourists. Just the French, who've been keeping this city to themselves for centuries.
We're going to show you everything. What to eat, where to go, and why on the last morning I was checking flights just to stay a little longer. I was ready to buy it. This is Lyon.
Day 1, and we just got in and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing in Lyon, finding the nearest bakery.
This is breakfast. So quick context, Lyon sits between 2 rivers. The whole city center is basically a peninsula between them, called the Presqu'île or something else. And this geography is actually why Lyon became the food capital of France. It was trade and crossroads. Everything passed through here. Wine from Burgundy, cheese from Alps, and fish from the rivers. So this is one of the rivers. And we cross the bridge, and afterwards we're gonna cross another bridge. That's the second river.
Local market. We ran into one. These look really good. I love how everyone's super friendly. And almond croissant. Here you can see the Eiffel Tower of Lyon.
And okay, so now we're at the second river, and this is what makes Lyon a peninsula. And I know a French song.
Okay.
C'est un beau roman, c'est une belle histoire, c'est un roman, so de joie. Water must be coming from the Alps because it's healthy green. Right? It's not like dirty green. I'm so ready for this. It smells really good.
Yeah.
I'm in my happy place.
I think there were some specific places that I marked for us to try.
Okay. By your eyes that you're excited.
Okay, my 2 favorite seafood are lobster and this, sea urchin, uni. I absolutely love it. My heart starts racing.
This is Léal de Bocuse. He is Lyon's most famous chef. Some say the greatest chef of the 20th century. And people here say this market is the belly of Lyon. Every serious restaurant in the city shops right here. Okay, oysters at 11 a.m. We're doing this. I absolutely love oysters. So fresh.
So fresh.
I love this. It tastes like the ocean.
Cheers. Okay, Eda's gonna try now.
Not for me, not for me.
Not for you.
Take
Okay, now I'm going to try famous Lyon foie gras pâté in a pastry. Take a look inside. It looks like it has some jelly meat.
Hannah, this is a local cheese called Saint-Marcellin. You have to try it. It's very runny.
It's a very stinky cheese. Smells like gorgonzola.
Oh,
Okay. It tastes good.
This would be really good, like brie melted.
Okay, where are we going?
Said entree, but it looks like we have to jump. No, that's an apartment. See, we have to jump. Oh no!
This is Bouchon Comptoir Brunet, and it's been around since 1934. A bouchon is a specific type of Lyon restaurant. There are only about 20 officially certified ones in the whole city. They serve traditional food the way it's always been made.
So many puppets around.
So apparently the puppet shows are a big tradition here in Lyon because in the 1800s, a silk worker created a puppet called, I don't know how to pronounce it, Guignol. Yeah, he was used to entertain children, but also kind of satirize like politicians, current events, things that would happen. And the politicians that they didn't like, the puppet would hit them with his wooden stick. It's really good. So good. Oh, it's bubbling. It's bubbling. I'm going to try the sweetbread, which is the thymus gland, French delicacy. Oh, see, these are the morel mushrooms.
Okay, mushrooms. I really like them.
These are really good mushrooms.
Okay. Is it really yummy? You know what?
Yeah.
I like it. I've never tried anything like this before. Bread soaked in all the flavors of fish. So it's now fish bread. It's yummy. It's
So
rich.
creamy.
It's rich, you know.
Yeah, it looks
maybe
super
not
rich.
for everyone, but I like it.
It's like a fish cake.
Yeah, fish cake. Is it
Sour.
What? I did not expect that. Lemon zest. It's good. I was expecting it to be so sweet because every video, every post we saw, they were like, oh, this is so sweet.
Now we're in Old Lyon, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's like you're walking right into the 15th century. But the most interesting thing about being here in the old town
Are the Traboules. This looks like a normal door, right? Just a door, right? But actually, Traboules are secret passageways that connect the streets through the buildings. There are over 300 of them in Lyon. The silk workers used them to transport fabric without getting wet in the rain. During the World War II, French resistance used them to move through the city without being detected. So we're literally walking the same hidden paths that the resistance walked. This was not what I expected to find in Lyon. passageways duck.
Oh, ouch, you okay?
Oh no, but also for short people. Oh man, that sounded hard.
I have a headache.
Oh man.
Let's find any yard. So, for lunch, should we just get some baguette and then some cheese and some meat or smoked salmon and make a sandwich?
I think that's a great idea. Sourdough baguette.
Who needs
This is the saucisson. The sausage. It's delicious. We got it at the market.
For dinner on day 2, we are at Brasserie Georges. This place opened in 1836. That ceiling you're looking at is 700 square meters, held up by 4 wooden beams that were dragged here by oxen from the mountains. They still brew their own beer on site, which is what it was originally built for. And brasserie means brewery.
And look at these plaques on the banquet. Every famous person who ever ate here has a plaque. Edith Piaf sat here, Hemingway, Jules Verne, and at my table, Antoine Saint-Exupéry.
Show the inside.
This looks perfect. This is what we've been looking for.
This is it. Yeah.
Finally, we found our favorite croissant.
Finally.
It's crispy, airy inside, and buttery.
And this is almond pain au chocolat. I'm so glad we found this bakery.
This is the Cour de Voraces. It was built in the 1840s by the Canuts, the silk workers, and there's a plaque on the wall that reads, "In the Cour de Voraces, hive of silkwork, Canuts struggled for their lives and their dignity." The Voraces were a radical group of weavers who used this courtyard as a meeting point during the silk worker revolts. It was the first major labor uprising in French history. This staircase has definitely seen things. Mur des Canuts, the wall of the silk workers, and I need you to understand, this is a painting, the entire thing, 1,200 square meters, painted in 1987 and updated every decade so the people in it age in real time. There's a man who was painted as a young cyclist in 1987. By 1997, he had a baby daughter. Now, in the 2013 version, he's a grandfather.
Last day in Lyon, and we saved the most historic restaurant to last. This is La Mère Brazier. It opened in 1921. Eugene Brazier, a single mother, formerly uneducated, became the first chef in history, male or female, to earn 6 Michelin stars across the 2 restaurants.
And here's the part that makes us a little angry. Her most famous student was Paul Bocuse, who became the face of French cuisine internationally. He didn't always give her the credit that she deserved, but in Lyon, everyone knows the mothers built the city's food culture. Let's get the spider crab and sea crab and the foie gras, yeah?
In Lyon, we ate at a 90-year-old bouchon, walked through secret passageways that the resistance used in World War II, and had dinner at a restaurant that opened in 1921. And I keep coming back to one thing.
Why doesn't everybody know about this place?
Exactly. Everyone goes to Paris, and Paris is Paris. But if you want to understand what French food actually is, where it comes from, what it means, you come to Lyon. This city has better food than Paris.
And by the way, I came into this having somewhat of a stereotype that it would be like Paris, where locals are a little bit more grumpy, but to be honest, it really exceeded my expectations here. People were genuinely warm, very friendly. We want to know, have you been to Lyon? Do you agree?
If you're new here, we travel together and eat everything. Subscribe so you don't miss where we go next. And we'll see you in the next one.